Hi guys, hope everything is well. We just wanted to give you guys some worship songs that would be an encouragement to you guys. So here we go.
Like a ring of solid gold, like a vow that is tested, like a covenant
something not visual. All right, we're good to go.
Hey guys, what's up? We're going to get into a little devotional today. I've titled this, Why COVID-19 May Not Be Such a Bad Thing. Now, before you say anything, let's just get into it. First off, given the current situation, life has changed, and for everyone. Now, this could be temporary, this could be long-term, we really don't know. But I know that being in school, mid-school, high school, that you're still at the mercy of your parents. You still have to be at home. You can't just go off and do whatever, and even then, we can't do whatever we want anyways because of the guidelines that are given. But you don't have your own house, and you don't have your own place to live at, and I know that this could be hard, and you're still with your parents and all of these things, and the reality is that you have nothing to do, but for your parents, it's hard too. They're still having to work, most of them, and if not, that's one of the things that's another challenge in their life. But the reality is that having you guys at home and having to still work is probably hard on them. But I wasn't making light of this situation and saying that why it may not be a bad thing. What I'm just trying to say is that right now, this situation should cause us to evaluate our own life. It really should cause us to look at what life is really about. Why are we here? One thing is that the only thing that's constant in life is change, and it's inevitable. But if life weren't to go back to normal, if all of these things that are occurring continue, does that mean that your life is now terrible or it's not as rewarding or fun? What if you guys can't go to college? What if you just graduated and now you can't go to college? We don't really know exactly what's going to happen. But what I can say is that just because life changes, it doesn't change your purpose or your value. Ultimately, out of all of this, I know that the reason nobody likes is because you guys are bored and you're not allowed to go out and do things. And I mean, I feel you. I miss you guys, and I miss being around, and I miss having or being able to go out and do things. But this has really caused me and everyone else around us to slow down in life, to not being able to go out and do things just when we want to makes life feel slower. And for me personally, I've enjoyed learning how to live in the moment, live in the present, and I've really been spending time with God. In the garden, back in Genesis, there's this scene, this picture when God created man. And when he created man, man didn't have technology. Man didn't have places to go. There weren't shopping stores or things to do in that manner, right? But what does that mean for them? Did it mean that their life was no fun just because they don't have what we have now? Well, certainly not. When we go back to it, we learn that our purpose in life and what God created us for. Now, with that being said, it has to be the same for every human. See, my purpose right now, even though I can do all of these things, has to be the same purpose that Adam and Eve were created in, and they would have to be able to partake in that. Otherwise, the purpose for man wouldn't be the same for everyone. Now, when we look at it, our purpose in life is the same as it was what Adam was doing back then, was that he was spending time and being in the presence of God and learning from God. Ultimately, our purpose in life is to glorify him. But in order to glorify him, we have to know him. And in order to know him, we have to have a relationship with him. In the book of Colossians, in chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, it says this. It says, "If you then were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on the things on the earth. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory." Now, obviously, things changed when there was the fall in the garden, and man had sinned. he violated that relationship with God. Therefore, man couldn't be in a relationship with God the way that he was. But that was the reason that Jesus Christ came. He came to restore that for mankind, for everyone who was willing to accept it. Because the greatest thing that you can do in your life is to fulfill your purpose. And your purpose is to have a relationship with God. And when you have a relationship with God, everything else will fall into place. But it starts from there. It starts with being in his presence. It starts with being in time with him, and it means that we're learning from God. God has created everything in this world, and he knows the plan for it all. And when you look around the world, when you look at the natural things that man hasn't tainted or been involved in, when you look at like the safari, the Amazon, you look at all of these aquariums, well, the sea, all the animals that are in there, what you find is that everything is working in sync, and everything works beautifully. Everything has a purpose, and everything has a job, and everything is just working together. And the same is for you guys. The same is for me, is that God knows perfectly the things that he has for us, but it's up to us to decide. And that's what the fall was all about, was that man decided that he was going to learn what good and evil was. And he was going to take it upon himself and into his own hands to try and live life the way that he thought. But God loved us so much that he sent his son. And that if you accept him in your heart and you believe it and you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, you'll be saved. And within that is the starting point to a whole new life. But it still takes time being with God, and it still takes being in his presence, and it still takes learning from him. I know that right now you're probably bored at home, and that's probably your biggest complaint about all of this, is that you have nothing to do. But the reality is that you do. You could spend time with God. You could be praying, and you could be reading, and you could be meditating on the things that you read. But you also could be learning something new for the future. Pray to God what gifts or talents you have and learn something new about that every day. Be a good steward while you're at home. You're living there, help your parents out. They're going through a hard time also. Some of y'all need to learn how to cook. So this would be a perfect time to learn. But clean your rooms, clean the house. And yes, it's not always fun, but being a good steward is about doing what's right and taking care of what's been given to you. Lastly, guys, if you need anything, don't be afraid to call. Don't forget we have an Instagram. It's ccrgv_youth. If any reason you guys need to get a hold, call the church, ask for me, or ask for my number, ask someone that you know, whatever it is, just know that we're here for you. So you guys take care, have a blessed day, have a blessed week. Love you. See you later.